Welcome again to the Political Napalm. Today we're finally on a different topic than the J6 insurrection riot, walk in the park, family gathering tour topics that have been all ablaze over the last few days. Today we're going to talk about this kind of viral tweet that's going around about Ron DeSantis down in Florida. Thomasina on Twitter has got the screenshot saying that after a FOIA request by Jim Laporta, a Navy document showed up showing that Ron DeSantis was a assistant urinalysis coordinator, and the jokes going around are being number 2 and number 1, not even the top urine analyzer, but being the assistant coordinator. I've got an issue with this attack vector on DeSantis over here, and there's a reason for it. In a former life, I was going to be in a career of public relations. That didn't happen. It's what I was aiming for while in college. It's what I was aiming for my job when I got out. And early in my work career, things took a slight turn to the left, and that's the way that I went. However, looking at things through a communication perspective still is my bread and butter. It's considerably different from marketing, but we are bedfellows. PR is really fun, and when you get into PR study cases, things like the Delta crash or the cyanide in Tylenol way back when, you get to learn a lot about the business. This is a bad look for people trying to use it as an attack vector on DeSantis. There is a pretty brilliant takedown of this urinalysis coordinator stuff a little bit down in this tweet thread over here, and we're going to talk about it. So again, the main thing is that he was an assistant urinalysis coordinator, and that's a joke. That is okay to joke about that job as a sort of dirty jobs kind of deal if he actually had to, hands on it. However, the reason why this is becoming a viral tweet, why it's becoming popular as an attack vector on DeSantis, is because DeSantis had a commercial where he basically spoofed Top Gun, called it Top Gov, and in the commercial, he basically parodies Top Gun. Now, the thing of it is that people are taking it to mean he's implying that he was a fighter pilot. This is a bit of a stretch. We know Top Gun is the original movie. We know Top Gun, the second one, did incredibly well, was considered a very good film, sort of returned classic American filmmaking back to the movies and sort of evoked that nostalgia of when Top Gun was popular the first time and what it was like to watch that. Now, whether or not you look at that commercial and come away with it that he is using it as a parody, or he is using it to imply that he was a fighter pilot, that's on you. I will always tell you when I'm not going to try to push something into your brain, and I'm not here to push that into your brain. You are certainly within the right or wrong to go anyway on that one. I do actually view it myself as a parody. And one of the reasons why it's easy for me to view it as a parody is WWE is having a WrestleMania in Hollywood this year, and they're having a lot of these spoof movie commercials using WWE wrestling entertainers. And one of them was actually a Top Gun spoof. I think simply all that he is doing is taking a popular movie that he knows is going to resonate with people, that they're going to recognize it immediately, and they can internalize it easy. Especially I think what really makes it easy for me is at the end with the child in the cockpit, and then he's got the child with him. To me, I think that really kind of seals it home that this is a parody and not an attempt to show that he is or was a fighter pilot. So trying to use that as a backdoor attack vector to say that no, he wasn't a fighter pilot, he was a urinalysis coordinator. You can clearly tell that is a low duty over here. I mean, you see general attorney over there, you see command achievements and everything, and the takedown really begins down here. So Tomasita kind of tries to defend themselves by saying, look, it's not that was his job. It's that it is a counterpoint to his point as passing himself off as a fighter pilot. Now, the takedown starts here by this person, AJ Delgado. And this is really where you kind of want to look at this thread over here, because she makes a good point of saying that the FOIA request was huge and that there were other E706s in there, like this one that says he was staff JAG and he was in detention operations and a primary specialties of being a trial counsel and JAG, a defense counsel, not urine guy. I think AJ really posted a very brilliant clapback at this. And I mean, I'm not in a state that needs to be affected by Ron DeSanctimonious, to quote Trump, which I think is a stupid title. DeSantis, where I am, doesn't affect me. I don't have a dog in this fight whatsoever. However, from a messaging perspective, from a PR perspective, you need to make the things ironclad. If you're going to go after somebody, if you're going to take a backdoor attack vector on somebody, you got to make it ironclad, because then what happens is you give the right free points when you get it wrong. And I think on this one, it is in fact wrong. This is an easy layup to counter this one. And I want to give some examples of what I'm talking about when things are basically a really easy free layup and how it backfires. During the Biden and Trump campaign for 2020, Trump released 2 ads that did not do him any good whatsoever. One of them was a one in which he tried to portray Biden as being sleepy by making it appear as if he was asleep in public, but in reality, it was Biden praying. Now, this is if you're just a critical thinking individual and you're somebody who thinks within the vacuum, not the whole suite of left politics or right politics, but somebody who looks at the message for the message, that was a super, super bad look for Trump, because Trump was attempting to still ride the back of the evangelical set that was gifted to him by Falwell Jr. Falwell Jr. was already wildly falling apart at this point with the wife and pool boy sex scandal and the alcoholism and being fired and the picture on the boat with the co-ed and the hand on the exposed belly and everything. Not a good look. And if any evangelicals thought critically and kind of processed things in their brain properly, they would have realized that Trump is not a religious person. And he may have been attempting to cater to certain sects, but he wasn't very good at being a religious president or a religious person. So to use an attack ad that uses praying as an attack and morphing the praying into he's sleepy, he's asleep, he's passed out in public and everything like that. He's old, he's doddering, he's feeble. Not a good look when the truth of it is revealed. It's really rife for backfiring right there. I think that was a very, very stupid ad to run and not ironclad at all. Easily revealed, easily countered, and a lot of points to the left when the backfire is exposed. The other one that I think was really bad for him is, again, he tried to portray him as he's not debating, he's all alone, he's in a basement, I'm out at campaigning, look at my crowds, look at Ohio, look at this, look at North Carolina, blah, 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 blah. I mean, first of all, he was lying about his crowd sizes throughout all of it. One of the ones in which he, slightly pre-COVID, he referenced a crowd size in either Charlotte, North Carolina, or South Carolina. I'm really sure it was Charlotte. His spin doctor tried to say that there were tens of thousands of people there and blah, blah, blah. That is a physical impossibility. The arena that he was at only held 9,000, and you can't have more than that in terms of cars and everything in a parking lot. If a parking lot is designed to only take care of 9,000 people, you're not going to get that much more that can't fit in the arena but are in the parking lot. That multiple tens of thousands that the person was claiming was an impossibility, and it was backed up by the town, and it was backed up by people who went there. There were not tens of thousands of people there. But anyway, by using his crowd size and his cult of personality, popularity, and everything, he tried to portray Biden in this ad as being alone in his basement, hiding, maybe hiding because of COVID, or just hiding, not wanting to debate, all that kind of crap. It was a cropped photo of Biden actually clearly surrounded by people in a Super Bowl party. Really, really bad look when you see the full photo and see just how much Trump's campaign had doctored that photo to make him look alone in a room, when in reality, there was like a good 5 to 7 of people around him just in the picture alone. Again, one of those ones that when revealed, highly backfires, takes the point away from the intended campaign, and flips it to the other side. And also very easily broken apart. All you have to do is produce the original photo, and then the campaign ad one gets shot to hell really quickly. This is an example of that. This attack on DeSantis, I think, is pretty close to being as cut and dry as those two Trump ones. Because unless there has been multiple instances where DeSantis has tried to say or portray himself as a fighter pilot, and I would know from a grandfather who was a fighter pilot and was in several wars and flew for American Airlines. That commercial, I think, is not so much on the sender as it is on the receiver. Personally, I don't receive that ad as being that he was a fighter pilot. I mean, I'm not in his state. I don't see other ads. I don't know that he ever claimed to have a record. I didn't know he was in JAG until now. So being a very neutral observer to it, I didn't necessarily think it was implying that he was a fighter pilot. I thought it was simply implying that he knew common media, something that he could tap into that people would understand. If we hadn't had the recent Top Gun movie, and the only one we had was the original, maybe I would say it's a little bit closer to the fact that he was implying that he was a fighter pilot. But as it stands now, I don't think that implication is as bold as people claim. So I think this attack vector over here on DeSantis needs to go. DeSantis gives people enough to attack with the anti-Disney stances and the CRT stance and fighting against that Roberto Clemente maybe being banned in libraries. It was like, no, it's not. But then people were like, it's under review. Are you kidding? I think he gives people enough that he can be attacked for. Hell, the people on the right attack him for shutting down the beaches due to COVID. I mean, he's a right-wing person. Right-wing people love him, but some diehards are like, no, I don't want Ron DeSantis for anything. He closed down the beaches due to COVID. But if you remember at the time, people were attacking him for not closing down the beaches properly for COVID and said he was the Reaper. And like, I think it was the Open Miami really early because he didn't want to lose out on that good spring break bling. There is enough you can approach DeSantis on as an attack vector, left, right, whatever. This is weak. It doesn't really stand up. I would not amplify this at all if I was smart. I think it's going to be a bad look when people really research exactly what he did during the military, like this AJ Delgado, and fire back on it. Let's see if lawyer. Yeah, see, if you look here, AJ is followed by Midas Touch and Patriot Takes. So she's followed by left-leaning media, and she's doing a pretty honest takedown over here. I wouldn't go with this. This would not be the messaging that I would promote or hype or amplify at all. Leave this one alone. Put this one in the bin. Take the L right now and just don't even deal with it any further and use something else instead. That's it for me today. Political Napalm signing off.